Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the new Disenchant Shuffle that is currently really good in Midnight, and show you exactly what you need to set this up. We're first going to talk about exactly how to set this process up, what sort of professions, spec builds, leveling, all of that you need. Then we're going to go into the actual process on how to optimize this, if that's something you really want to do. Then lastly, I do have a spreadsheet to help you calculate profit, so I'll show that off, show you exactly how you can calculate how long this will take you, and also how much profit you can expect. Now, one quick warning, please do keep in mind that prices right now are super volatile. An item that we saw in this video went from 50 gold earlier today all the way up to 90 gold. Then right before recording this video, it went all the way down to 60, and now I believe it's back up to like 75 again. So prices are very volatile, meaning depending on when you see this video, the profit could be less or it could be more. Also, of course, if people decide to try this method after watching the video, that means there are going to be a lot more people doing this, which could also drive down prices. And at the time of recording, the actual reset or launch hasn't even happened, so we don't have a ton of demand for absolutely everything right now. So just something to keep in mind, always use the spreadsheet to figure out what the current profit is. But as of right now of recording this video, you can expect easily over 50,000 gold an hour on the low end right now with current prices on the NA market. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Now, first things first, if you guys are new to disenchant shuffling, it is actually a pretty simple process. What we need to do is craft an item and then disenchant that item, and then we are simply selling the materials. In today's video, we're going to be crafting engineering blue gear, so then we will be taking that blue gear to then disenchant into the new radiant shards. So this technically at a very base level is a two-step process. However, depending on how you want to optimize, this could become a three-step process, which yet again I will show you in this video. But the first thing that you're going to need is an engineer. And the great thing about this is that your engineer doesn't have to be anything special. Your level doesn't really matter, your profession tools at the base level doesn't really matter. You simply just need an engineer, and then you need to unlock one of the blue recipes that currently cost 1 Evercore. Once you do this, and it doesn't matter which one there is, there's quite a lot. So for example, this is like the cloth goggles, but also the cloth wrists also cost 1 Evercore. The leather goggles, there's a ton of items that require 1 Evercore. Something like this, which requires Evercore and pile of junk, you want to avoid, because that's just extra cost for no reason. So you're going to want to pick something that has 1 Evercore, and then you're good to go. From here, what you can do at a very base level, remember we will optimize this later, but all you're going to want to do is purchase Evercores off the auction house, craft these into the blue shades, and then you're done on the side of engineering. Once you have an engineer, you're also going to need a disenchanter, and this is where it's going to take a little bit more effort to get started. There are two super important things, and two things only, when building a disenchant character. First things first is that your skill matters. If we open up right now, I am currently at skill 75 out of 100, and I am wearing green profession tools, which is giving me another 18. So in total, I have about 93 skill. What you're going to want to do for this method is get your skill as high as possible. If you can get it past this point, that's even better. But if you are using the spreadsheet is based on this 93 skill, so this should be the goal that you want to hit. Now you're probably thinking, Penguin, how in the world did you get to 75? And you can actually reach 75 strictly through trainer-learned recipes. What you're going to want to do is just continue to craft trainer-learned recipes all the way to 75. I believe the Amani Mastery, once I unlocked this, took me all the way to 75. Technically, I could continue to spend some points and craft these helmets to get to about 80. These are green, so that's going to take a little bit more skill or, a little bit more crafts to actually get there. So that is something I could do, but you should be able to hit 75 pretty easily. Outside of that, if you really want to push it to 100, it's pretty hard to do right now because weapon enchants are so silly expensive due to the petrified roots. So there's not really a good option unless you either purchase a recipe or you unlock it through specializations. So right now, I would say just get to 75 and you're good to go. Now, in terms of profession equipment, it is purely personal preference. Right now, I have gone the more simple route, so I strictly just have green equipment, and you do not need to worry about quality. Like I said before, the only thing that matters is skills and specializations, meaning all of these bonus stats that I get, like crafting speed, resourcefulness, all of that, that is not going to affect disenchanting. And that is the only thing that the quality of these affect. A rank 1 shard is going to give the same exact +5 skill compared to a rank 5, so really just buy the cheapest green tools and you're good to go. If you want to go above and beyond, you can go ahead and order blue tools. That's going to give you +40, assuming you have all 3, compared to +18, which just means your outcomes are going to be even better. But if you have green tools and you're at 75, then you are matching the calculations of the spreadsheet. Now, the slightly more time-consuming thing that you're going to need to do is get 60 knowledge points. Now, this sounds like a lot, but trust me, you can do it. First things first, at the time of recording, there are technically 8 enchanting treasures, but one of them is unknown, so you can only gather 7, and if you go and gather all 7 profession treasures, you just have to fly around the zones and get them, you will get 21 knowledge points. So you're almost halfway there just from that. Next up, what you're going to want to do is craft every single trainer recipe. You can ignore the weapon ones. As you can see, I have not crafted these, so you can ignore those, but everything else you're going to want to craft. A quick tip for you is that all of these Gleefer Glamours all give 1 knowledge point, however, you can't pick them up at the normal enchanting trainer. What you're going to want to do is mount up. Here we are at the enchanting trainer right here, and just fly backwards. And there will be a little building right here. And then inside of here, right here, this woman, she will sell you those trainer learned recipes for the Gleeful Glamours. So they are just a trainer learned recipe, but you need to go and pick them up here, and then you are good to go. After you craft everything that you can, you will likely be either 1 or 2 knowledge points away. I believe I was at 59 out of the 60 that I need, and the last thing you can do is either craft a enchanting treaty yourself or request it from crafting orders and have somebody make it for you, and that should get your final points. What I personally did, because I was not waiting around, is if you do hit Renown 6 with the Silver Moon Court, you can purchase your Enchanting Knowledge Point book at the Quartermaster. It cost, I believe, 75 Moxie, which is really, really easy to get. You'll have that from all the first craft bonuses, as well as 750 of these Voidlight Morals, which you can just warband transfer if needed. But you can purchase that, and that's going to give you 10 knowledge points. So doing all of those methods, you should easily be able to get the 60 knowledge points that you need, and you're going to place them just like this. The main spec is going to help you with every single sort of disenchant that you do, and then because we are disenchanting blue gear, you want to go into the shard supplier, which is the other 30 points. If there is ever a good dust shuffle or a good crystal shuffle, then you would need to go into the other trees as well, but simply for this video, all you need is these 60 points. But once you have these 60 points right here, as well as high of skill as possible, then you are good to go. Once you're set up, what the process is going to be is that you are going to get a bunch of Evercores, then you're going to pick whatever sort of item that you want to do, and then you simply hit craft all. Depending on your crafting speed, this will either be kind of slow or kind of fast, but you're just going to simply wait until your inventory is full. There we go, we just crafted a few here. And then what I'm going to do is send this over, because this is not the same character, I'm going to send this over to the Disenchanter. Just like so. And so now if we switch back over, there we go, and we check our mailbox, I will have, there we go, the items right here. And now you have 2 options. If you guys like, you can use TSM Destroy, which simply just opens up this menu, and then you can hit Destroy Next, and this will help you disenchant all of your items. However, this does require a click every time, which can be slightly annoying, so your other option is to make a disenchant macro. How you do this is you simply just make a macro like this. You're going to do cast disenchant, and then you're going to do /use, and you're going to say whatever item it is. In this case, I'm making the Evercore Shades, so I'm doing /use Evercore Shades, and then you can just drag this and put on whatever number you want. Now, instead of having to, spam click my mouse, I can just spam click 5 on my keyboard, and it will disenchant all of these. But that's it. That is the shuffle. Then, of course, what you're going to want to do is go into the auction house, and then post up all your things. The fun thing about this is not only do you get shards, but you also get these kind of extra items here. So we got some linen, we got some copper. This was from a previous, shuffling attempt, so we're just gonna post up these. And as you can see, these things are selling fast. If they don't sell instantly, whenever somebody comes and buys a big bulk, they will then sell, but that's it. That is how you disenchant shuffle. Now, in order to figure out exactly how profitable this is for you, this is where the spreadsheet comes along, and this is linked in the description. This is my midnight spreadsheet, and in order to actually update it for your prices, what you're going to want to do is go to File in the top corner, then you'll be able to hit Make a Copy, and that'll save it to your own Google Drive. From here, what you need to do is type in your prices on the current auction house. And so if I actually move this over real quick, and we go back, and as you can see, this sold as we were talking. But if I refresh the auction house just like that, we can see that the Radiant rank 1s are currently 151 gold. The rank 2s are currently 188 gold. The Tranquil is about, we'll just say 25. The Scales is 78. The Leather is about 19. The linen is 66, and lastly, the copper is 75. So just like that, your material prices are updated. You're also going to want to get the price of Evercore, which, remember, keep that in the back of your mind. We'll optimize in a little bit, but currently the price of Evercore is, there we go, it's still about 75. Oh, it's being weird, but it is 75, trust me. So we have 75, and then from here, what you're going to want to do is simply type in how many Evercores you're going to buy. In this example, let's say we were going to do 100. It's 1 Evercore per craft, meaning it's going to be 100 crafts. And because our crafting cost is 75 gold, that means our total cost in is going to be 7,500 gold. Then, based on the profitability breakdowns, remember this is skill 93, with 75 coming from your base skill and 18 coming from tools, and that means that the total value of everything that you should get is about 23,000 gold. Then, taking into account the auction house, which is a 5% fee, and then subtracting your cost of goods, you can expect a profit of 15,000 gold, or 14.7 thousand gold, from those 100 crafts. Now, something you have to remember is that these are stats based on a large amount of crafts. So if you sit here and type in, 5, for example, yes, the spreadsheet is saying that you are going to make 600 gold, but in those 5 crafts, if you get the below average expected rates, then your profit might not be anything at all. So it is important that you kind of do big batches. So let's say you were going to do 250 Evercores. That's going to cost you about 19,000 gold, and you can expect a 37,000 gold profit. Now, something else I've done is I've calculated kind of giving you a general time frame of everything. So by default, in order to craft one of those blue equipment pieces, it costs 2 seconds to craft. So what I've done is you can actually type in your crafting speed here. So for example, I currently have 7%, meaning it would cost me about 1.86 seconds to craft 1 bracer. And so if I were to craft 250 bracers at that time per, it would cost me, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. We can say it will cost me about 8 minutes to craft that. Then in order to disenchant those, you can't speed up disenchanting, so it would cost me a little over 6 minutes to disenchant. Meaning, of course, there's some time between logging characters if you have to, and of course, there might be a buffer if you don't spam the button fast enough, or when you have to go mail your items, things like that. Of course, there's a little bit of a buffer, but you can say here in about 15 minutes, you can process 250 crafts, meaning in 15 minutes, you can theoretically make 37,000 gold. If we were to put 1,000 Evercores in here right now, it would be 31 straight minutes of crafting time and 25 minutes of straight disenchanting time. So let's just say an hour, it would cost me 75,000 gold, and I can expect 150,000 gold profit. And so that is the current disenchant shuffle. Now, before this video ends, I do want to cover a few key points, so let's go back over to our engineer. Now, like I said before, our end goal is to craft this right here, and so purely right now we are simply buying Evercores off the auction house and then crafting them into this. That is technically fine, and currently, like I said before, it is profitable based on the spreadsheet, but depending on prices, there is potentially a way to get Evercores cheaper. What you can do is produce your own Evercores, which comes from recycling. What this allows you to do is take in a handful of midnight crafted reagents and then recycle them into Evercores. And right now, the kind of cheapest reagent that I've seen that you can choose is the powder pigment. If we look on the auction house, the powder pigment is right now 28 gold a piece. It cost 5 powder pigment per one, so that means our crafting cost is 140 gold. Now, if you are a basic engineer, so you have no specialization points whatsoever, you're going to get anywhere between 1 to 3 Evercores per recycle. Meaning, if you kind of average that out to 2, you can expect to get 2 Evercores for every 5 pigment. So if 5 pigment is 140 gold, divide that by 2, that would be a 70 gold cost of the Evercore. Currently, Evercore is on the auction house for 75, so theoretically, you could put that third step in there, and you could save a little bit gold on this crafting cost, making even more profit. Of course, it'll take you a little bit more time to do, but that is something you could do. To make this even better, what you can do is put 30 points into recycling. Like I said before, there's so many first-time craft bonuses, as well as you can go and get the 8 engineering treasures, which are going to give you 24 knowledge points just like that. But if you put 30 points into recycling, your recycling will now yield 100% more material. So if I were to just buy, let's say, 100 powder pigment real quick, and I were to start recycle this, here we go. As you can see, I am now getting about 2 to 4 Evercores instead of the 1 to 3. This math is, once again, it's kind of my estimates, but if you don't have the shuffling, you get anywhere between 1 to 3 Evercores, so it's about 2 Evercores per craft. And if you do have the specialization, you'll get anywhere between 2 to 4 Evercores, meaning per craft, you'll get 3 Evercores on average. So what you could do here, assuming you have the spec, is if this currently cost 140 gold, you could divide this by 3, and that would be your current crafting cost for Evercores. The last thing I want to mention is, as you guys can notice here, I do have profession tools, and that is because this right here is giving me resourcefulness. So I have a rank 5 tool with resourcefulness giving me 79, and then also I have the handguard, which also gives me another 32 resourcefulness. So whenever I'm recycling, not only, of course, am I just getting more Evercores, but I also have a 14% chance of resourcefulness, meaning I'll save some pigment, as you guys can see we did previously here, which just adds even more profit. And the great thing here is that actually when crafting armor with that 14% resourcefulness, as we craft, whenever we proc resourcefulness, which hopefully come on video, there we go, resourcefulness was shy during this video, but as you can see, whenever we proc resourcefulness, we are practically getting that goggle crafted for free, because we use an Evercore and we get an Evercore back. So yet again, that can bring down that Evercore price as well. So if we just go back to the spreadsheet, for example, let's say instead of 75 gold with all of the resourcefulness procs and all of that, this is just a pure example, but let's say we can get the crafting cost down to like 65 gold. As you can see, the profit jumped from about 150 to then 160. And then of course your crafting cost overall went down 10,000 gold as well. But yeah guys, that's about it for the Disenchant Shovel. As I get more and more data and I do this more and more myself, I will be updating the spreadsheet. So if you do see these values slightly kind of change, as you clone the spreadsheet, that's just because I'm getting more and more data, making this more and more accurate. And whenever I do have the opportunity to max out my enchanting myself, I will also make a section for each of the different skill values that I'm able to obtain, whether that's 140 fully maxed out, somewhere in between, etc., etc. Also, right now, this is just the Radiant Shard version, but I'm hopefully going to find a good dust one as well as a crystal one, and those will be added kind of below here as well in the exact same format. So, depending on when you see this video, there may be more here. If not, then you guys are pretty early, and this is what we have so far. But everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying release so far. Get out there, get to Disenchanting, and make some gold. But everybody, thank you so much, and have a good day.